With the boom of the RTX 40 series GPU, so came the drama of melted cables, fires, and some rather expensive GPU replacements. While Nvidia has managed to recoup the damage done by its horrible 12VHPWR connector, those of you looking for a modern PC build with a 40 series GPU in it right out of the gate can now consider buying a power supply with the 16-pin connector built into it. That way, you don't have to use any converter and you can save space and avoid damaging your GPU. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, previous power supplies up to now didn't compensate for these new 40 series graphics cards and their new power ports. So if you were upgrading your GPU, you would need to use a standard PCIe cable from the power supply unit and split it into its various connectors so they all channel into one 16-pin adapter. To put that into perspective, the RTX 4090 uses 4 8-pin cables, the RTX 4080 uses 3 8-pin cables, and the RTX 4070 uses 2 8-pin cables. But besides the clunky cable connectors hanging around your case, the converter also used thick wires which often caused issues when closing your PC case door. All I'm saying is that it wasn't ideal for cable management, power flow, and versatility. It worked, but it was really just a temporary solution. This is where the Gigabyte UD1000GM PG5 PSU comes in. That's a long name. It is one of the first power supplies to include this GPU cable in it right out of the box, so goodbye adapters and hello one cable management. Gigabyte sent one over for me to use on my PC build. This was a godsend given my current setup. Firstly, I had a 2000 watt Cooler Master power supply in my PC, which is just insane. I really didn't need this amount of power and it was just overkill for my build. The Gigabyte power supply I received was a 1000 watt model, which is half the spec. Sure, I wasn't technically using all 2000 watts on their Cooler Master power supply, but I won't pretend to say I wasn't concerned about its output. Secondly, I was so keen to embrace this new cable. It makes a world of difference to no longer use that damn adapter. The Gigabyte UD1000GM PG5 isn't the flashiest power supply by any means. It is just a black box with a fan hole, connector ports, a power switch and a kettle plug port. In the box you get one ATX 24-pin connector, 2 EPS 4 plus 4-pin connectors, 1 PCIe 5 connector, 4 PCIe pin connectors, 8 SATA connectors, 3 Molecs and 1 floppy connector. I won't bore you with the installation process of this power supply because it's pretty standard. It does comply with ATX standard dimensions, so you won't need any special case for it. The ports are all situated on the back and I simply plugged all the cables in that I needed. I was also happy to finally use one CPU cable instead of the 2 which I had used in my previous 2000 watt model. In fact, the entire cable management was so much neater now thanks to the new 16-pin connector too. So in theory I used to use 6 cables to power my entire PC, and with this new power supply I only had to use 4. Of course, the elephant in the room here is the power supply's lack of ATX 3.0 certification. Gigabyte didn't lay down the groundwork for the ATX 3 compliance on this model. Instead, the company took a power supply and simply added a 16-pin connector to it. This connector can support up to 600 watts of power, but the other requirements such as 3 times GPU power excursion and the 12.2 volt rail aren't a thing. So the power supply is almost there. It has the most important feature for these so-called next-gen units, but it isn't as feature-packed as an actual 3.0 compliant unit. Regardless, if you're in the market for a new 40 series GPU, definitely consider this power supply if you're worried about the adapters required on other units. Not only is it much cleaner, but the GPU connector makes a huge difference when it comes to positioning your GPU. The cable also provides a great leanway for those installations and is a lot more accessible than the adapter. So that's a quick look at this Gigabyte power supply. It's a very short video, but I wanted to give you a closer look at the power supply itself and the connector, and maybe explain and show how much easier it is to use in the computer than the adapters. You can pick up the Gigabyte UD1000GM PSU for 2,999 Rand now. I just want to thank Gigabyte for sending this power supply my way. I really do appreciate it. Again, thanks for watching guys, and please do consider liking and subscribing for more future content. Be sure to visit www.glitch.online for more gaming, tech news and reviews. Until next time, farewell.